Hello and greetings everybody. Here I am. It is 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock in Thailand. I don't know what time it is with you, but it could be. So, quickly, there are three things I want to talk about today. There's also some very good news, but it's not confirmed. So, until it clarifies, I'm not going to say anything. But what I am going to say is, if it's true, well, I'm just going to enjoy that wonderful sensation, that consciousness. And if it isn't true, it isn't true. But let's just enjoy that consciousness. But sorry to be so vague, but the three things I want to talk about. First of all, I want to quickly run over the video I made yesterday. This concerns a cat or 9 lives. Now, some people... Who am I? Who am I to be sitting here and pontificating like this? What's my background? So very quickly, I will go over that. In a long time ago, in the 1980s, I changed career. I was working in the Middle East, and I stopped. And I went and qualified as a psychotherapist, and that was in 1984. And then I started up, and my first practice, in fact, was in Bahrain, much to the chagrin of my boss, who didn't like it one little bit. Anyway, we moved on from there. I added hypnotherapy to my string of my bow. I went and I moved to London. I established a practice in London, in Kensington, in fact. And went from there, and then started looking at other things. Homeopathy, absolutely wonderful stuff. So I got a qualification in homeopathy. And then in about 1987, I went to a lecture in Regent's College, which is that lovely, it was I think a ladies' college, Bedford College, is set in the midst of Regent's Park, a really superb location, where a man called Howell was lecturing on I can't remember what he was lecturing on. I think it was electromagnetic fields. Whatever it was years and years ahead of its time. And he was starting up a college of holistic health. And so one of the first, I liked this man. He'd made a film, he'd done all sorts of things. He had a stunning background. So I signed up and joined his first year in holistic medicine, and that was in 1988. And that took, Harry is very special, that took me to Sri Lanka, which I'd known anyway because my father had been working there. He was a tea planter, and the wonderful Alternativa Medicina with Anton Jayasuriya. And so it went on. I had a practice in Harley Street. Then I moved into the Howell Clinic, which is again very close to Regent's Park. And then I moved to Ireland. I moved back to Ireland, to Dublin, and there I was sort of split between two things. I was, with Harry's stuff, I by that time qualified. I was a holistic health practitioner, which is effectively a naturopath. But I also had an MD. So the two, and also I was working with people with emotional issues, which made me a bit of a split personality at that time. So I established a practice in Dublin. To begin with, I commuted to London on a regular basis. I think it was once a week, which was insane. And then stopped that, worked out of in Dublin. Eventually, I established my own healing centre, or was part of a healing centre, which became my own in the end. Natural Solutions in Monkstown, which was nice, beautiful Queen Anne building close to the sea. And I got ill, and so I went through all of that. I'm not going to go through, that's another story, this isn't the time for it. And I was also going to Hawaii. I was training with Tad James. We also did Ho'oponopono. So I walked the volcano and learned about those things. I also did my training in Reiki. And it was in Honolulu that someone mentioned this wonderful meridian energy medicine, meridian energy techniques. I was completely dumbfounded. I didn't know what they were talking about. But by the 2000, I had gone through my treatment, which was centred around St Luke's Hospital in Dublin. And someone from England came over and gave a lecture, gave a workshop, a weekend workshop in EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And I was blown away, and so I joined up with Tam Llewellyn and became the facilitator for the Irish Association for Meridian Energy Therapists, became a trainer, and worked in that field. I also worked for a magazine, Today's Therapist, going around telling people how these things all worked. We did weekends here, there, and everywhere. And then in 2005, I came here to Thailand. First of all, I worked in a university in Bangkok. And then from there, I was not doing anything I particularly liked. So I came to Koh Samui in 2007 and worked at one of the health resorts here with Graham Rowe. And since then, I have been keeping myself abreast of what's going on in the world. I think I've added some more qualifications to my string. But also, I wrote a book. That's this one. This is A Cat Has 9 Lives. The detox, the virtual detox that I was talking about yesterday is based around this book, 9 Steps to Detox and Wellness. So we've put together I put together a virtual detox program. If you want more details of that, I did go over them yesterday. If you want more details of that, there's also details of it on Facebook. I'll be glad to give them to you. I'll be glad to discuss it with you and answer any questions you have. And we can do that voice call. I'm on WhatsApp. We can do Zoom, whatever you like. Send me a message here on Facebook, because otherwise these calls can sometimes go missing, and we can put something together, and so I can answer your calls. It is based around the book, so one of the things that you get is a PDF copy of this book as well. So that's that one. The second one is this is a very difficult time. That's hardly a brilliant statement. It's hardly an outlandish statement. But I also wrote a book, and this was published in 2002. It's out of print now. It's called Full Circle. And in it, I actually launched my own therapeutic technique called AMBIT, Alistair's Meridian Integrative can't remember what the AM, Alistair's Meridian Integrative something therapy. Anyway, it's a clearing technique, and it's very powerful, and I really haven't used it a lot. So if anyone is interested in exploring that, I'm very happy to do it. But one of the things I wrote in this book, and I think is absolutely essential to grasp this, and I'm going to quote from someone who I have met and spent some time with, but someone who I'm vastly impressed by, and that is Carolyn Myss. And Carolyn said quite a long time ago, and I'm going back now over 20 years, that the age of the victim was over and that it ended with AIDS. Well, I think she was completely wrong. The age of the victim is with us now. This whole corona thing is all about victimhood. I think that the most important thing that we can do is to come out of that victimhood, because we're talking about being at cause and being at effect. if you're a victim, you're at effect. You're being pushed around, shoved around like a little boat on the sea by whoever chooses to push you around or to shove you around. And there seems to be a lot of that has been threatened. And really that, I think, is disease. And I said in this book, I said that the crux of therapy was to bring people out of that victimhood, to take them from effect and bring them to cause. And I still totally believe that. And I would really like to think that this coronavirus is where Carolyn got it wrong. This is the last stage, the last step in victimhood, that we work to bring people out of effect and into cause. On my website, I say I work with men and women who are suffering from dis-ease. And dis-ease I define as disempowerment. And it's to bring them back to empowerment, which is thrive. So the point of this is to say that I'm here, I've got a lot of experience, I've worked around the world, I'm available. If anyone wants help, I'm here. I know that many people are at this moment having problems around money, and I fully understand. Well, so am I. So, I can fully understand that. My money is running out too. So because of that, I'm willing to help. I'm, virtually online using Zoom or whatever you like. That can be anywhere because that's easy enough to do. And if you could give me a small donation for that help, that is fine. But, the very word donation means a gift. And a gift is something that you choose to give or you don't choose to give. So that I leave up to you. But to me, that would be very helpful. So I'm offering that as number 2. And number 3, there is something else that I learned a long time ago. I came across Baird Barnes and in Munichs, 2004, maybe 2005, quite a long time ago. And I learned in Munichs. Barbara Retson says it's a skill and not a technique. We're playing with words here. But really, what is a Munichs? A Munichs is a healing technique, and it goes back to everything that I've really been saying today, and that is that who is in charge of your health? You are. When we were looking here at the detox, it's getting rid of the toxins that make us ill. Then once we've strengthened our immune system, well, we're pretty well fireproof against everything. And Munichs, really, I've done it. I've been online. I'm in 1 or 2 of their videos. In one of them, I'm curing myself of malaria several years ago. It was a New Year. But I've seen Munichs work for cancer and all sorts of serious diseases, and for something like flu. And by flu, I'm going to throw in the coronavirus. You can clear some of that quite quickly. You work on it. You work on it yourself. You have to learn the skill, to get the signal of people who've done idiomotor reflexes or anything like that, or kinesiology, that you will understand. But what we will do is teach you how to do that, because that's really important, to unswitch you as well, something that is very important as well, something I wrote about a lot in here. And then to work to clear your bodies. You have 12 bodies. But that is running ahead of the game. I'm going to do a 3-part workshop on this very soon, if there are people out there who are sufficiently interested, and that you can then get to work, can teach you to get to work to clear your own problems, your own illnesses. Cancer, I've seen that cured. I can't. There's a whole host of things that I've watched. Something that takes 5 minutes, flu usually takes about 5 minutes. Cancer is a bit more hard, is a bit more hard work. It can take several months, but you have to keep clearing. And to some people, that is hard work. They'd much rather someone give them a pill and everything goes away. But we know it doesn't work like that. So it's taking responsibility for your own health and doing something about it, because at the end of the day, you are responsible. No one else. Your doctor isn't responsible. The president isn't responsible. Bill Gates isn't responsible. You're responsible. So it's just, and that responsibility has been taken away from us. And it's to step up to the responsibility, to move from being effect, where you're being at effect, where you're like that little boat I mentioned that's out there on the bay, and it's been tossed around by the wind. It goes wherever the wind blows it. That is not very empowering. Instead, to move to effect, where we actually take charge of it, where we put a rudder on the boat so we have a direction. And so that, I think, is a crucial element. Dane Hare talks about this in Access Consciousness as well. He says that if we are reacting to the or resisting whatever it is we're resisting, like this pandemic, we're lowering our level of consciousness to that of the pandemic. So what we must do, because that's resistance, what we must do is take positive action, and that will take us to a higher level of vibration, of frequency, that will take us beyond the stultifying effects of the disease. And I've always felt that. I worked with attractor field therapy, which actually goes through all of that. So those are the three things. First of all, number one, the virtual detox. Number two, if you need help, please just get in touch, or get this video to go around so other people get in touch. I'm there. I'm happy to help you, because this is my contribution at this difficult time. And number three, keep tuned. I've given a brief introduction to Munichs, but we'll do it. We'll schedule the first of those sessions fairly soon. If it's on this live, timing is quite difficult, because right now, for people in America, they're tucked up in bed. It's fine for Australia. It's okay for the Middle East and here, and it's okay, I think, for Australia, although it's going into the evening. So that's the message. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you have comments, if you have questions, please, 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 please get in touch. Please tell other people about this, because if no one knows about it, it's hidden, and it's rather a waste. So let's use it for the best advantage that we can. So thanks again. I'll say bye-bye. Have a lovely weekend, and hopefully talk to you soon.